Life often throws us curveballs. We may wake up one morning and realize that just it's not going the way we had planned it. It's not going the way we want it to go. We work through a lot of our healing and we try to manifest the life we desire, but it's really not landing. It's really not happening for us. Why isn't that happening? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you the dynamics of energy, soul fragmentation, and soul integration. And hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to understand better why you're feeling like your life isn't going as planned. Even though you have intent to try to fix everything, it just doesn't seem like it's happening. So it's gonna be a really powerful video. I remember back when I was in college, my best friend Mike and I in college, I think we were around 19, 20 years old, decided to drive down to Florida for winter break, live in Northern Illinois. So it was December. My parents had two Toyotas. They were almost identical, different colors. They allowed us to take one of them down. So Mike and I jumped in one of the Toyotas and we started driving down to Florida. Now, a little bit along our way, I realized that something was up with the car. It wasn't running right. It kept like making this hesitation, jerking motion as we were driving down the highway. Now, being teenagers, we didn't really care. The car was working, it was starting, it was driving, wasn't running right, but yet we felt it was going to get us there and get us back. So we proceeded along our way. And I remember going through the mountains of Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains, when we got up in elevation a little bit, the car really struggled. It really had a hard time to get up the mountain and over down the other side. It was just hesitating, just doing this kind of a thing. So when I started thinking about that recently, it really made a lot of sense to me as to what was happening and how we could relate that to what's happening within our body. When we are traumatized, when something happens to us that creates this trauma, we take our energy and it's like we pull a piece of it away and we set it off to the side. So we're not operating at full capacity. Now, when we're growing up, we're young, we're getting to our teens and so on and so forth, we reinforce these traumas. And the more we identify with them, the more we let them control us, the more we take an aspect of ourselves and we pull it out of the hole. Much like what was happening with that Toyota. The Toyota, when we got back from Florida, I had it serviced by a mechanic that we knew. One of the spark plug wires was bad. So the car wasn't running on all of its cylinders. I think it was a 4-cylinder car. It was running on 3 cylinders. It did not have all of its power, all of its energy available to it. So it was in resistance. It was struggling. Now, that puts a strain on all the other parts of a car. Just as when you are in resistance, you are identified with your traumas and you're in that stuck energy, that puts a strain on the rest of your system. So things don't tend to work out the way we had hoped when we're in resistance. We experience this wobble of our energy, just like that car was wobbling as we were trying to get through the mountains. And it manifests in a reality that really isn't a smooth, flowing, effortless, aligned presence journey. Okay, we're encountering resistance constantly. That's because our energy is not available, just like the energy of that spark plug that spark provided to ignite the fuel to assist in the forward motion of the vehicle wasn't there, wasn't available. The rest of the parts kind of had to step in to try to take its place, and that creates stress and strain on the car, creates stress and strain on your physical body when all of your energy is not available. Now, as we go through this healing journey, we start to identify areas where our energy is lacking or where it's not available. This is the dense areas within our body, and our body will direct us inward and show us where energy isn't flowing, where there's really dense pockets of energy. We can experience that through physical pain and inflammation, those kind of symptoms. We could experience them mentally as fatigue or stress or anxiety, those types of symptoms. But nevertheless, they are all pointers letting you know that you've got some spark plugs that aren't firing, right? And the rest of your body is trying to compensate and keep the machine moving as efficiently as possible. But that efficiency continues to drop. That's where we get into situations where we start to age faster. We start to feel more run down. We start to get sick. Illness creeps up, disease, things like that, because we are not in harmony. We're in disharmony when that happens, just like that car was, not operating at peak efficiency. So what we need to do when these types of situations arise and we start to feel dragged down or run down, or even feel the heaviness. I've been feeling heaviness over the past week, and I've been working through that. And what we want to do is we want to essentially replace those plug wires. We want to bring awareness to the problem, and the mind will show us the problem. The mind will always try to seek the problem. Whatever it thinks the problem is, we want to bring awareness to that, and we want to feel the underlying emotions. When we could sit and feel the underlying emotions, we are building new circuitry, like replacing the wire in the car, connecting a new wire to the spark plug so that the energy can transfer through that and ignite the fuel. When we have stuck energy, the energy, our consciousness, cannot get through that density, and we're not operating efficiently. So that's called fragmentation. Now we want to reintegrate those fragments, and we do that by experiencing or feeling the dense energy that's coming up. That's your soul's way of showing you that consciousness is not flowing through certain areas of your body. And again, that manifests as a whole host of physical symptoms, and that can manifest as a whole host of mental symptoms. But when we bring awareness to that energy, when we feel that density, it allows it to create circuitry through that actual tissue within your body. And that allows consciousness to start to flow. That allows energy to start to move, and your body wobbles less. It starts to operate more efficiently. There's more energy available for things like doing your work, whatever's aligned with your life path. There's more energy available for coherent thinking. There's more energy available for healing, because the body is getting a much clearer signal from your higher self. It's no longer being impeded by wires that are broken or unplugged. Okay, so when we go through the healing process, this doesn't happen overnight. This happens over time, because part of the healing journey is learning how to recognize and feel these dense energetic blockages. That's part of the healing journey itself. It's not all about the actual sitting and feeling. It's about learning how to recognize. When we learn how to recognize that, something changes within the brain. We start to be able to spot these blockages. We're able to feel them, and we have circuitry or new habits in place, and we know that it's time to take a step back, sit, and allow ourselves to feel this. That is like plugging a new wire into that spark plug. And when you do that, you will feel a shift within you. That is a restoration of energy flow. And this happens day after day after day on minute levels. The smallest inclination that you're feeling a little bit off or a little bit wobbly, you get in and you start to sit with that, and you breathe with it. You hold the space for that energy. Even the most smallest, minute little wobble, you start to get sensitive to those, and you start to get in and you right the ship in that moment. And those build over time. The more you do that with the smaller ones, the more circuitry you have in place to be able to ride out the bigger waves, which come less often. It's the small stuff that usually drags us down. It's the stuff that's lying beneath our awareness, deep in our subconscious, that we don't even know about. Maybe there's just a subtle underlying feeling of unwellness, or things just aren't right. It's not something that's necessarily obvious in your reality per se, but it's just an underlying feeling that something's off. We need to bring awareness to that, drill down beneath that, allow it to be, fully feel it, and right the ship in that moment, or plug in a new spark plug wire. That frees up that energy. It brings it back into the mix. And if you do that step by step, little by little, your frequency will start to rise. You may not notice it right away, but over a period of days or weeks or months, you're going to notice it for sure. That I can promise you. So a lot of times we wait for the big stuff to happen. And we sit with that, which is great, but we don't want to ignore the small stuff. The car wasn't a major thing. All it was a plug wire that needed to be replaced, spark plug wire. The car had 3 other cylinders that were firing, but yet it created that wobble in the engine. And that wobble resonated through the vehicle. We were able to experience and feel it. It affected the performance. So when we have these plugs, these wires unplugged throughout our body, we don't have consciousness flowing through connected circuitry there. It's the same effect on your body. Your body starts to wobble. And as your body starts to wobble, your reality starts to wobble. It does not match the vision that you have in your mind, and you lack the ability to change it because you don't have the energy available to create a conscious intent to make that change, to manifest the life you desire. You need to get in and reclaim the energy. You need to reintegrate these soul fragments, make that consciousness available to you that charges you up. It's like you're running on all cylinders, and then you could create an intent with a lot of energy behind it that will completely rewrite or reconstitute your reality. That's how powerful manifestation happens. It's the little stuff, the little things that make you feel a little bit off that you want to focus on and really create new patterns in those moments. So bring awareness to the small things, sit with those, and I guarantee over a period of days, weeks, or months, you're going to start to notice a big change. It's an exponential change. It starts out slow, and then it goes like this. Okay, so give that a try. If you need assistance just getting in, take a deep belly breath. When you're feeling off, bring your awareness to your breath, get into your lower lungs, your belly, your solar plexus, and breathe and really expand that space. Allow it to expand and exhale down into the planet. Take a few of those breaths throughout your day, especially when you're not feeling quite right. That's going to recenter you. It's going to bring a presence forward. It's going to bring awareness forward and allow you to really hold the space and feel that feeling of unwellness in that moment. And you may not know what's causing it per se. You may not be aware of the story that's causing it or the reason behind it, but that's okay. Allow yourself to feel it, allow it to be there, because the more you do that, the more circuitry is built, the more space is created. It allows some of the deeper stuff to come up. And with that deep stuff, you may know the story, you may remember the memory that caused it. And that just contributes to further healing. That gets you running more efficiently, gets you running more effectively, gets you motivated. It restores your energy flow. It allows you to start to move faster. It allows you to start to manifest more of a life that's in alignment with your higher self, your highest path, your highest frequency path, who you truly are. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you regarding this. Let me know your experiences or what your thoughts are, and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.